Hello, everybody. Welcome back. Today, we are going to chat through Miranda July's All Fours. Right. Okay. Right. Okay. There's a lot of hype around this book. There's a lot of discussion. It hit a real zeitgeist when it was published. I want to say 1 to 2 years ago after I'm reviewing it. It's been out a bit. I'm not reviewing it just after it was published. And there's a huge amount of discourse about this novel, about a middle-aged woman who has a midlife crisis, ultimately. And so for a lot of women of the same age, the readers loved it, like, oh my God, this has changed my life. I feel seen. For a lot of others, this was a load of hype. Oh my God, it's not as good as all the hype. Blah, blah, blah. Criticize, criticize, criticize. I really feel for Miranda July because it's really hard when your book hits something like that because it gets blown up. And as a writer, you must feel like, oh my God, you're all misrepresenting my work. Oh my God, I feel like I can't control this or whatever. It must be really hard. So I caveat everything with that must have been a really tough, and it's very hard as a reader sometimes then to come in off the back of that and read it without any expectations or concerns, but to actually read it afresh. And I say that because I actually had to start this book twice, and I'm glad I did. Let's just say that. So All Fours. All Fours follows it's a fiction, a 45-year-old semi-famous artist who clearly had some kind of breakthrough piece of work earlier in her career that she's never quite been able to replicate, but has been able to live off the reputation of this groundbreaking piece of work for a while now. And she's now married with a kid on the West Coast. And the setup is that she's called to a meeting or presentation in New York, and she decides rather than just fly over, she's going to do like a road trip, cross country. Her partner's like, great, I will stay and look after the kid. You go and do your cross country road trip, fly back, and that'll be a great experience. What happens is, moments into this planned road trip, still in California, she just turns off the freeway and goes into a quiet town, and there has a sort of midlife crisis, parks up in a motel hotel room, has a quasi sexual non-sexual affair with a younger boy. Her head's a mess, and she has this midlife crisis, and this book is about that crisis and the fallout from it. When I first started this book, I was like, oh good Lord, it's a woman. Just, I'm a woman of a certain age, and I was like, Jesus, like this is all very highly sexed, and is this really what a midlife crisis is? It's not really for me. And I put it down. I thought, God, this isn't for me. It's obviously one of those books. Haven't people read I Love Dick by Chris Kraus or lived through Alanis Morissette? We all have these really strong emotions, whatever. I didn't think this was groundbreaking or anything new. I was like, I'm just going to put it aside. And I put it aside for a number of weeks. And I came back to it, and I'm so glad I came back to it and I finished it, because this is really interesting. I'm not going to say I'm in the percentage of people like, oh my God, I feel seen, this has completely changed my life. This book is far better than the sort of very myopic, condensed version some of the hype has reduced it to. This is a mess, and that's why I like it. Miranda July has deliberately hijacked a very familiar situation, woman in a midlife crisis, and has blown it up a little, shaken it out, and written something that does not follow the usual path of expectations, the way you think this book or this plot should plan out. This character is a mess at the beginning, she's a mess in the middle, and she's a mess at the end. And I like that. I like that very much. So in All Fours, the character does have this midlife crisis. She does start questioning her career, what she's been waiting for. Is she in the right relationship? Is the relationship working for her? What is this mess that she's got herself in with this younger boy who's engaged to someone else? Why has she locked herself up in a hotel room that's like 20 minutes from her house for 2 weeks? And then she starts spending all this money doing up the hotel room. She's crackers, right? But that happens. And what's great is that only takes up about half the book. The other half is the fallout from that, and that's the bit that's really interesting, is this character has to therefore work out and resolve what she has unpicked. She doesn't try and cover it up. She instead puts her pedal to the floor and thinks, what have I uncovered here? What is it in my life that isn't working? And that's where this book succeeds. All Fours is a great examination of a woman who doesn't know what she's doing, but knows that right now, right here, this isn't right for her. And that is the magic of All Fours. It's a really accessible book. You do think the character is mad, and I quite like that. She is very highly sexed. There's a lot of sex scenes, but that's not all she is. And it is true that for in midlife, some women do have these kind of highly sexed phases where they absolutely have to go that way. But that isn't necessarily the purpose of this book. It's about understanding who she is and where these emotions come from, and the validity of these, and that she's okay and thrilled to have them. I liked it. I liked it. And so maybe if you passed over All Fours back in the day when it was published because there was so much hype about it, now that it's quietened down, do have a read. My thoughts are, if you're not of a woman of a certain age, this book probably isn't for you, because it really does speak to a certain life experience. And so you may not get as much out of it as someone who perhaps wants to feel seen. But I like the fact that this is messy. I like the fact that this is unpredictable and unexpected. And for that, I really commend Miranda July. A better book than I was expecting. All Fours.